So yes, my name is Atilola. I am the CEO of African Naturalistas. I know that you do not normally see my face on the page a lot of times, but yes, this is who I am. I am going to be talking about hair loss in babies, the causes and the preventions today. But for now, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Atlola once again. I'm the CEO of African Naturalistas. I am a cosmetic manufacturer because I'm an advanced cosmetic scientist, the chief product formulator at African Naturalistas, and I'm also a board certified trichology practitioner. At African Naturalistas, we manufacture hair products. We have a hair clinic where we manage over 50 hair and scalp disorders for women in Nigeria. We also have a regimen package that we offer ladies, and we have a blog. To find out more about African Naturalistas and all our services, you can go to africannaturalistas.com. It's a landing page that will lead you to different things that we do. Okay, so as you come here, once you join this IG live, you can always say hi. You can always say hi and introduce yourself. Tell us where you're attending from. Say hi and let's be social. Huh? All right. At the end of this session, we are going to be having a question and answer segment where we're going to be taking all your questions about the topic we are dealing with today, which is hair loss in babies. Okay. So who is here? Who can I say hi to before I leave? Hello, Diane. Hello, Tai Squared. Hello, Sarah Palin, Augustine 024. Hello, Igbadun Concept. Hello, Made. As time goes by, I'll be saying hello to everybody who joins us. So, just to be having fun. Okay, so African Naturalistas, as you might know, it's the leading natural hair care brand in Nigeria. I've already talked about the things we do, and our vision is to help women achieve their goal to natural hair. I mean, in a stress-free way, they go to a healthy hair naturally. That is our vision. So, then we'll be moving to the topic of the day very, very soon. I don't expect it to be a very long IG live session, but I just wanted to say something that the feedback. I just want to address a feedback that I got at the last IG live session. I think it was in either February or March. I can't remember, but all I know is that I was heavily pregnant, even though no one knew. I was heavily pregnant, and I managed to come on. Yeah, you couldn't see from my face, but I was chewing gum at that IG live session, and the feedback I got after the IG live session from my friend who cared enough to tell me about it was that, why will I be conducting an IG live and I will be chewing gum, because it was interfering with, it was distracting people from the things I was saying. And because she knew me, she knew what I was going through. I was pregnant for 9 months, and almost all through the 9 months I had tirelism. And tirelism in pregnancy women is when you are spitting uncontrollably. So there is no way you can talk to people without chewing gum or without licking candy or sweets or whatever you want to call it. And I mean, if I'm licking sweets, there's no way I'm going to be able to talk to people. There's no way I'm going to be able to address. So the lesser evil for me was for chewing gum. So I'm sorry if you joined the IG live that time and you felt that, oh, why is this lady chewing gum in the middle of a session? But that was it. It wasn't for a medical reason, and there was nothing I could do about it. But thankfully, I had my baby almost 10 weeks ago, 9 weeks and 5 days ago to be exact. He's doing very fine, and as you can see, I have no gum in my mouth. There's no need to chew gum anymore because my baby is perfect, and I am also perfect in health. All right, so that's not about the chewing gum. So we are going to today's topic. You want to stay for this, I assure you. This is an eye-opening topic that we are going to be dealing with, because what you thought you knew, by the time this IG live is over, you will find out that you didn't know anything. What you assumed to be true, by the time this IG live is over, you will find out that what you assumed to be true was not the case. So you need to stay tuned, and you need to stay till the end because you are going to be taking your questions and answers live. All right. So many times we get asked questions about baby's hair. That I, as a trichologist, we get asked questions about baby's hairs and why it is or isn't, why our babies are losing, or these babies are losing hair at the back of their head. And they say, African naturalistas, I need a product to help my baby's hair. I need this, I need that. Can you do something? I had my baby. All of a sudden, I find out that my baby is losing hair. It's very funny because this is something a lot of people go through. But the thing that we hear out there are myths. So I'm going to go through the common myths that we've heard about how babies lose their hair. Firstly, we have heard commonly touted that it's because babies sleep with their heads back. That is why they lose their hair. I am trying to send a message to my my social media manager. I don't know why she's calling, but obviously I cannot pick the call. So we hear that because the children sleep with their backs on their hair, with their backs on their bed, that is why they lose their hair at the back of their head. But if we think about that, we'll know that that is not true, because we all know that it's been said that babies should sleep with their back facing up in order to reduce the case of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. But yet, even though almost all the babies all over the world are sleeping with their head back, not all the babies are losing hair. And we have found out that even some who are stubborn and sleep with their face downwards on the bed, they lose hair. So obviously we can say that it has nothing to do with the we can say that it has nothing to do with the way babies sleep. It has nothing to do with your sleeping patterns. Research has gone over and over to find out that no, babies losing their hair has nothing to do with this sleep pattern. So we have removed that myth. Please, if you have questions, ask. I will take them at the end of the session, but you can ask them now so that I can jot them down. Secondly, another myth that we have heard is hereditary loss. We have heard that babies lose their hair because the mothers don't have hair, or the fathers don't have hair, or there's a case of hair loss issue, either recessive or dominant traits in the family. But that is not true, because hereditary loss only manifests itself in form of androgenic alopecia. And androgenic alopecia will not occur until later in a child's life, or in a person's life. That is when androgenic alopecia will occur. So there's no, I've never even heard of it that androgenic alopecia happens to babies. So it's not a case of hereditary hair loss. So we have taken that second myth aside. Other people have also touted babies losing their hair to other external factors. People have said it's because of traction and friction against other surfaces or things. And we know that there are lots of people out there ready to rip women or ready to rip mothers off their money, because women will always do anything to have their babies in perfect health. And once a woman just thinks that, oh, something has gone wrong with my child, something has gone wrong with my baby, they decide to spend all the money they can have just to correct this thing. So we find people, saying, give me this, give me your money, I'm going to give you a product to to grow your baby's hair. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, promising you heaven and earth just to tell you that they're going to grow your baby's hair back. And they really, either those people don't know anything, or they just want to take money from those women. But we as manufacturers, as African naturalistas, could have easily joined this bandwagon also, because we manufacture hair products. But as trichologists, as hair care experts, apart from product manufacturers, integrity is our watchword. So we make sure we don't do things like that. Now, let's get to the meat of this topic and deal with why exactly do babies lose their hair? Why is it that you give birth to a child, he or she comes with head full of hair, and 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, you just see that your baby starts losing hair and loses, and the hair doesn't grow back until like a year later. What exactly causes this thing? What exactly causes women to run from pillar to post, yet they find no solution to their baby's hair loss? Now, the phenomenon of babies losing their hair is called neonatal occipital alopecia. Neonatal, if you're a mother, I'm sure you have heard of neonatal. You have heard the word neonatal being thrown around from time to time. So neonatal is just hours or days or weeks after birth. So neonatal means something that happens some period after birth. Occipital is alopecia is hair loss generally. So there are different kinds of alopecia. This one is neonatal occipital alopecia. Occipital is a region of your hair. So your head is divided into 4 sections. We have the frontal section, we have the parietal section, which is around the crown to the midsection of your hair. Then we have the occipital section, which is from the midsection of your hair to the back of your hair. We have the temporal section, which are these bones here. So we have your frontal region, your parietal region, your occipital region, and your temporal region. So the occipital alopecia is the hair loss that happens around the occipital region, and when it comes to babies, it is called neonatal occipital alopecia. I hope that is very straightforward. I've tried to explain it in a straightforward way that even as people who are not science oriented or are not in deep into the science of hair, you can still understand what I'm talking about. So the reason, now this is a bonus point I want to quickly put, the blood vessels that supply the different regions of your head are different. That is why somebody will say something as in layman's language, my back hair does not grow as much as my front hair, or my middle hair is the longest part of my head, or my side hair is very short while my front hair is very long. That is because different blood vessels supply different parts of your head at the same time. So it is always very good to know that is why different parts of your hair don't grow as fast. So look at my hair in front. I mean, even though my hair in front is long, this is actually the shortest part of my hair, because this is the part that grows shortest. But my back hair is really long, it's pretty long, and that is because different blood vessels supply my frontal region, my occipital region, my temporal region, my parietal region, my temporal region, and my occipital region. So I guess that is self-explanatory. All right, so straight to the point. Why do some babies lose their hair in the occipital region? Why don't they lose? Some people say babies don't come losing their hair in the front. It is always that point. Why do babies go bald, in layman's term, at the back of their head, not long after they have come to the world? First, let me tell you my own story. This is just to plug in, just to make this stuff fun. As you all know, I'm into the hair care business. I've been there for a while. I manufacture products. I'm a trichologist. I've been entrenched in this hair care industry for about 8 years right now. Yeah, I started African Naturalistas as a blog in 2011, and also I have very long hair. My husband too has long and full hair, so it was expected that by the time somebody like me comes and has my baby is basically going to come like somebody from the ape family, because my baby will come with full head of hair, with hair just dripping down. Their hair will just be long and their hair will be this. So I already had plans that what, when my babies come out, by the time, if it's a boy, by the time this boy is 6 months old, I am going to weave his hair. Everybody will be envying my child's hair, that wow, see your child's hair is so full. This, in fact, I was going to pepper the whole world because of my son's hair. And if anybody dares tell me how can you weave a boy's hair, I will tell them to shove their opinions down their throats, because it's my son and I can do anything I want with my son. Anyway, so I had my first son, and my son came out with hair. Yes, I was very happy that yes, my son has come out with hair. I'm going to show the whole world that I'm a hair care expert. Next thing, like 6 weeks, this hair was not growing as long as I expected it to grow. Next thing, the hair started, the guy started losing hair. I was looking at this hair like, what is happening? In fact, by the time my son was 6 months old, it was as if there was a river in the middle of his hair, because everything was gone. I don't know if you can hear his voice now. It's this particular song that is shouting right now. Everything was gone. My son's hair, I was like, God. And as a trichologist, I knew better. I knew that this thing, I know the cause. But I was so disappointed to the point where I wanted to find any solution to his problem. I put everything, even though I need to do work. But that's to tell you that whenever a mother goes through that thing, anything can happen. Anyway, so that is my own story. So if you are going through the same thing, I understand. In fact, there's a baby on the flyer of this IG live. It's my son's head that we use for that flyer to show you. So why do babies lose their hair? Well, one reason I also hesitate to answer this question is because it requires some form of hair science knowledge. So I'm just going to quickly go through it so that you can understand why babies lose their hair. Now, the hair growth cycle has 3 phases. We have the anagen phase, the catagen phase, and the telogen phase. The anagen phase is the growth phase of every hair strand on your hair. So when your hair is growing afresh, from the hair follicles, that is the anagen phase. Then when your hair is resting, after it has grown for a while, it's going to get to a resting phase. That is the catagen phase. Then the last phase, where your hair is shedding off, that is the telogen phase. So for some of us that are familiar with hair care, you might have heard of telogen effluvium. It is a point where a lot of hair on your head are, you understand, shedding. So there's a lot of hair on your head are actually at the telogen phase. So that's what's called telogen effluvium. So we have the anagen phase. Listen to me, because you need this exercise to understand why babies lose their hair. You have the anagen phase, the catagen phase, the telogen phase. Anagen phase is the growth phase of your hair, where the hair is growing. Catagen phase is the resting phase of your hair, where the hair is resting. And telogen phase is the phase where the hair is dropping off. So we have, that is the hair growth cycle that everybody's hair goes through. That is the hair growth cycle that everybody's hair goes through. So if you want to read more about this phase, you want to go in depth, you can go to our blog, blog.africannaturalistas.com, to read about these phases, and these phases can be further subdivided, but it's not necessary for this post. So at every point in time, our hair is in at these three phases. So all the hair are on our head. Some of them are in the anagen phase, some of them are in the catagen phase, and some of them are in the telogen phase. So you can't have all your hair growing all at once. All of them will not be at the anagen phase, because if you have all of them at the anagen phase all at once, by the time it gets to telogen phase, it means that all your hair on your head will fall off and you'll be bald. So at some point in time, all the phases just vary. So in adults, telogen effluvium is the point, as I said, is when many of your hair are at the telogen phase at once and they shed off. And this is caused by hormonal imbalance, it's caused by sickness, it's caused by so many things that happens in the body of a human being. It can cause your hair to go into the telogen phase. But for babies, why do all their middle or their occipital region go into the telogen phase all at once? Why is it that your occipital region goes to the telogen phase all at once in babies? Now, in a fetus, the hair growth cycle is synchronized. You know that this life has just formed in the womb of the mother. The hair growth cycle is synchronized. When a fetus starts, it's developing. It does not have hands, it does not have fingers, it does not have legs, it does not have eyes, nose, and so many things. It does not have mommy Moeke said, will we save the Instagram live? Yes, we are going to save the Instagram live. You are going to be able to watch it for 24 hours, and we also have this video on YouTube. So if it keeps kicking you out, you can always watch it. So yes, that's that. So when you get back to the Instagram, back to the webinar or the IG live, when the baby is born, the baby has nose, the baby does not have nose, the baby does not have eyes, the baby does not have any part, the fetus. Then later the fetus does not have hair. In fact, the fetus does not have a head, talk less of hair. So as the fetus begins to develop, the hair begins to develop fresh and new. The hair begins to develop, the hair develops. So all the hair is at one phase at first. We have the hair at anagen phase. Do you understand? Because this is a new baby, so everything will grow. All the hair is in growth phase, is in the anagen phase, but this anagen phase starts at 20 weeks. When the fetus is 20 weeks in the mother's womb, all the hair comes at anagen phase. After 26 weeks, 6 weeks later, the hair gets to the resting stage, which is the catagen phase, and then the telogen phase. Now, because at this point, the baby has already started forming. The baby at 26 weeks is not the same thing as a baby at 1 week gestation. So when the baby is at 26 weeks, the vessels supplying the blood to different parts of the head, which I already talked about earlier, are supplying blood at a different rate at 26 weeks. So by the time the hair starts entering the telogen phase, they don't enter the telogen phase at once. They enter the anagen phase at 20 weeks. They go into the catagen phase at 26 weeks. But for the telogen phase, it starts from the frontal region. We are going to take all this part as the parietal region. It starts from the frontal region. So the frontal region begins to shed first. Then the parietal region begins to shed next. before the occipital region. I hope you guys are now following me somewhere. Yes, this is now getting interesting because now your eyes are beginning to light. Okay, the babies start losing their hair from the womb. Yes, they start losing their hair from the womb. They lose the frontal region first, then they lose the parietal region next, and they lose the occipital region next. So when they lose this hair, they by 38 weeks, the occipital region is still in the cataging phase, while the frontal region and the temporal the parietal region, they've gone on to do their own business. They've gone through the telogene, the catagene, they've gone through the anagene, the catagene, the telogene, and they've gone back to their anagene. The occipital region is still in the catagene phase at this point in time by 38 weeks. So you give birth to your child. Between 38 and 40 weeks, you give birth to your child. Your child comes with all this hair on their head, and you think, oh yes, my child has a lot of hair. But what you do not know as somebody that is ignorant of hair science is that those hairs are different, they are at different phases. Even though physically you can see the hair, one is actually at the anagene phase, one is at the catagene phase, another one is at the none is at the telogene phase at this point. Some of them are their anagene phase and some of them are their catagene phase. So before your child begins to get used, before the body of your child begins to get used to this world and begins to synchronize at about maybe 1 year old, your child is now 8 weeks old, 12 weeks old. Next thing, you just see that my child's hair is falling off. What did I do wrong? Did I sleep? Did the child sleep well? What did the child wear? What products did I use? Blah, blah, blah. You start disturbing yourself. No, there's no need to disturb yourself. Your child's hair just entered your child's occipital region just entered the telogene phase, while the frontal region and the parietal region has done theirs. Your child's occipital region is just entering the telogene phase. So there is really nothing you did. It was not your fault. It is not something you did to cause your child to lose his or her hair. I hope you guys now understand. So I think I'll be able to dispel the myth. So that is why your child lost his or her hair anytime from 8 weeks or 6 weeks, however it is, because of something that started from your womb, and it is the normal human life, normal phenomenon of life, normal hair cycle at work. Right now, let me tell you guys something about a research that was carried out on neonatal occipital alopecia, which is what we have been talking about. All right, so they have carried out extensive research when they found out that it was not the child's sleeping position that got a child to lose his or her hair. And we found out that in most of the cases, 95% of women who had children who later had neonatal occipital alopecia had vaginal deliveries. They had vaginal deliveries and they were born after 37 weeks. Now, if you have been listening to this IG Live well, you will not be surprised that those children were born after 37 weeks. So this implies that most children that were born prematurely before 37 weeks and they were had through cesarean section, they always have full hair and they do not have neonatal occipital alopecia. So your friend had cesarean section, the child came in before 37 weeks. In 99% of the case, that child is going to have a full head of hair and the child will not have occipital alopecia at all. At all, the child is not going to have that alopecia. So I have a friend who had twins, and you know that twins don't always stay up to 40 weeks. She had twins, and most twins are always born through cesarean sections nowadays. If you see her children, in fact, till almost, it was when they were 2 years old, she cut their hair. Their hair was so long, it was so full. Everybody kept asking her, please, what do you use for your children's hair? What do you use for your children's hair? And she was basically using just coconut oil. So she told them, I don't use anything for my children's hair. My children just have long hair. Even though she's a medical doctor, she's not a trichologist. She did not know about why her children has such full hair. But I, as a trichology practitioner, I knew why her children had full hair. So that is the reason why. And the reason why is that when your child goes into gets into 37, 38 weeks, your child's occipital region would have entered the catagene phase, while these ones would have entered their telogen phase later, and that catagene phase is just waiting to shed at 40 But when this cycle is interrupted and the child comes out prematurely, the hair has not been able to get into its regular hair growth cycle, and that's why it doesn't even force itself into that catagene phase. And by the time it starts getting into that phase where it can start showing itself, the body would have regularized. Now that you know now that you know what causes this hair loss, what can you do about it? The truth is that you by yourself, there is nothing you can do to stop it. Like, if that hair growth cycle is already at play on your child's hair, there is nothing you can do to stop it. You can only wait for it to synchronize, for your child's body to synchronize. Just like when a lady has her babies, she's losing hair or something, maybe somebody is sick and you take products, medication for cancer, and you're losing hair. There is nothing you can do about it. You only wait for your body to catch up and for it to synchronize. So if your baby is having that hair loss, you have to wait for your child's body to synchronize to the point where the hair loss cycle is distributed evenly around the whole hair. And that usually happens when the child is about 1 year old. Anytime from 1 year old, or shortly before or shortly after. Sometimes it takes a while for it to regularize. It might not be 1 year later, but eventually it's regularizes, and that is because our body functions are unique. One child is not the same as the other child. Now, if it bothers you as a mother, what you can do to make sure you don't aggravate this situation is to always use kid-friendly natural oils. You get like the castor oil, the coconut oil, anything to just make sure that the traction of your child's head against surfaces is not so much. The pillowcases, you can change it to cotton. Everything, you can do everything in your own hands to do, but always make sure that you don't stress yourself, because the major factor causing neonatal occipital alopecia is out of your hands. You should worry less and love your child the way your child wants to be loved. Eventually, your child's hair will get back to normal and we can all go to bed to sleep. So yes, that is the end of this. I haven't gotten a lot of questions, but I've gotten on this webinar. I need you guys to ask your questions. I need you people to ask your questions. But we got a question on Instagram when we publicized this, and I'm going to be answering that question. Let me see if I can remember the question. The question says, at what point, if you have your questions, you can ask now. I heard the network keeps pushing you people out from time to time. So this thing is going to be available for 24 hours on Instagram, after which you can also watch it on our YouTube. You can also watch it via YouTube on our YouTube channel at African Naturalista. But let me quickly answer this question that was asked to us. Okay. So this question is from It's Plantain Chick. She says, "I'm dropping my question now, so you can follow. You can answer it during the the IG live starts. When do babies start using hair products? Like natural. At what age? Then at what product? Okay, let's answer that question. If the products are harmless products, natural hair products, and products, products safe to use for children, I will say your child can start using their hair products from the day they are born. Yes, my children have been using our products, African Naturalistas hair products, from the day they are born. As long as, it's not all those chemical products. We are talking about hair itself is dead protein. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing that can. Okay, we are getting questions here. Since there is a physiological event, there isn't much that can be done to stop it. Using aids and products to keep the rest of the hair moisturized should help, right? Okay, I've already answered that. Yes, there is nothing you can that can be done when you use aids. You can help. You can keep it moisturized to reduce the effects. The physical effects it will have on your head. You understand? So it's like somebody is sick. The person is sick, but it doesn't mean that you should not go and match the person's stomach. It doesn't mean you should lie the person and match his person's stomach so that the person will vomit. You get, leave the person sick like that until the person gets well. If you match the stomach, the person will vomit and the person becomes sicker. So what you can do is to moisturize, keep the child's hair moisturized, and the child should be better. You get, but it does not mean that it's going to make the child not it's going to make the child not to be sick, or is in this case it's going to make the what has happened to stop. But you as a person should do your best to make sure your child's hair is well moisturized, well cared for. Is there a natural solution to this, or we should just let it be? Yes, I think I've already answered that question. Just let it be, but it does not mean you should now fold your hands and say, yes, my child has neonatal alopecia and I will not do anything. Always use good products for natural hair on your child's head. And number one is African Naturalistas. Then somebody says, so more or less, yeah, Mommy Mo Care. Mommy Mo Care, thank you so much. I'm loving your questions. Thank you for your participation. So more or less, we can create a good environment for the new hair coming out to thrive. Exactly, because when my child had it, all I did was that, even though it was a boy, and I wasn't tying scarf around his hair like I would force my daughter to. I don't have any daughters, so anyway, I would have forced my daughter to if I had one. I just laid satin scarf on the region where he lies his head, so that as he was losing hair, the new one coming out will not, since it will not just break off because there's nothing there. That is what I did. Create a healthy environment for the hair. You can copy what I did. Lay the satin scarf around the place where the child puts his or her head on his bed or her bed, and do what you can do. Just give it a help, but I don't want you to give yourself blood pressure or whatever to say my child's hair is not growing, my child has lost hair, my child has lost hair. Nah, don't give your child that pressure. All right, so back to the question we got. Your child should be able to use hair care products from the day one. If your child can use all this commercial hair care product, like the one that starts with J, the ones that start with P, the one I'm talking about now, the ones that start with C, if they can use all those chemical products from the day they are born, of course they can use natural hair care products from the day they are born. Now, the second question is, which products? Some natural hair brands also have kids line, but kids are different from babies. Most of them are not specific on the age when to start using that kind of product. And if you ask their customer service, some say 6 months, others say 1 year. But I was wondering, if the product is supposed to be 100%, why can't I start using it from the first month? Now I'm avoiding any kind of soap or shampoo on my baby's hair to avoid harsh to avoid baby harsh effects and damage, I just wash her hair with water and rub it with shea butter. What I want is to avoid her becoming bald, as I see many babies with bald patches and it's not cute at all. Luckily, she was born with a whole lot of hair, and she's growing more in addition. So obviously this lady, she probably had a CS, or she, came before 37. And some people that have full-term baby, but not all. Some people that have full-term babies don't have neonatal occipital alopecia anyway. So maybe she's one of the lucky few ones. But yes, it's not cute at all for babies who have bald hair, but there's really nothing they can do about it. And what I want to correct from its plantain chick is, it is not the products that made the children lose their hair. It wasn't the products that made the children lose their hair. So let's not tout into hair care products. Don't be afraid to use products on your children's hair. It is not the products that made the child lose their hair. Now, for somebody saying that you should wait for 6 months or wait for 1 year before you start using their own products on the children's hair, number one is either those products are not they are not natural and safe for the children, or the person, there are many formulators out there right now. I have a cold, so I need to clean my nose. There are many formulators out there right now. I mean, they just come to formulate. They really do not understand what they are doing. If these products are safe for children, they are safe for babies. That's the truth. If the products are safe for children, they are safe for babies. So anybody that is telling you to wait 1 year, the person is probably not sure of what he or she is pushing out there, and you should doubt that person. Ideally, once they are safe for children, they are safe for babies. Although we know that yes, babies have this curly hair, they have what they call baby hair, but once they are safe for children, they are safe for babies. You should be able to use it. If it's 100% safe, you should be able to use it from day one of your children's hair. Our own early starter series. I mean, you can go to our Instagram page at African Naturalistas. You can go to our online store, africannaturalistas.com/our store. You will see our baby range, our children range. It is from babyhood till, I mean, as long as you want. If you don't want to transition to the adult product, it is the early starters range. Start your children early with good hair products, the early starters range. Okay, let me take more questions. Mommy Mo Eke says, what about moms whose babies suffer from Ella? It also causes hair loss, yes, and stresses the moms. Is there a solution to that as well, or is it also self-limiting? Yeah, it is. So she's talking about seborrheic dermatitis in children, also called cradle cap. If you are in Nigeria, of the Yoruba region, of the Yoruba tribe, which I am affiliated with, or which I am, excuse me, it is known as Ella, and I'm not going to be talking about that today. I'm going to be talking about that at another IG live. And of course, there is a solution to that. That is the question, that is the answer. But I'm going to be talking about cradle cap in children. Maybe because you have brought it up, I'll be talking about that next month. So yeah, it's good to talk about that next month, right? I'll be talking about cradle cap in children next month, because we are going to be having this IG live once a month. All right, somebody asked, how can one limit freeze on locks? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be talking about that this week, but since you're going to, I like to keep the focus on the topic for the day, because I don't want people to think that they can come and bombard us with questions that have nothing to do with the topic for that day, so that I don't get overwhelmed, and so that the Instagram live doesn't end up running for a very long time, because there are 1,000,001 questions we can be asking ourselves, that has to do with hair care. So that's why I like to limit it to the program, or to the topic of the day. So I will just note your questions down, and I'm going to treat it at another Instagram live session. So she talked about locks, so I'll probably be talking about locks in another. I have locks, very long locks, so I think I'm I'm very, very qualified to talk about locks. Okay. Somebody says, what about Mommy Mo Eke? What about hairstyles. I've seen braids on babies and I tell myself this hair will cut to I mean, I'm sure Mommy Mo Hair Care knows the answer to that question. Well, I think a lot of people braid. When I mean braid, I mean tight braids with extensions. They braid their baby's hair and their children's hair mostly out of ignorance. I don't think anybody wants to start their child's journey to hair loss. You know, the way there is journey to healthy hair, there's also journey to hair loss. Some of people, they start the journey to hair loss of their children very early in life. So the child does not even have to grow to start bad practices. The mothers have started the bad practices of their children's hair. Please do not braid your child's hair tiny and tight, or tiny or tight. If you must start braiding your child's hair, which is what we call weaving in Nigeria, let it be loose, not rough, but a bit loose, and do not use extensions. If you want to use extensions, you can use it at the tips of the hair. If you want that illusion of, oh, my child has long hair, but not from the, all those picking, you pick the child's hair so tiny, so tight, you pick it and you are seeing the child's scalp just because in the name of beauty. Don't do that, or else you will come to my hair clinic for consultation and you are going to pay. So if you do not want that, you need to make sure you start your child very well on the path to healthy hair. No tight braids, please. No tight braids. Nothing extravagant, nothing extraordinary. No heavy beads at the tip of the hair that will be, pulling the child's hair. That there's so much traction. Let's do this for our children. Let them grow. Let them be children. Let them be babies. Okay, we are going to be wrapping up soon. Mommy Mo says, yeah, she has seen all sorts. Well, I've seen all sorts too, but sometimes you just carry your eyes and move, and sometimes if you are close to the person and if you think you are you think you are free enough to talk to this mother, you can talk to her and tell her, nah, what you're doing for your child's hair is not good. But if you are not close, we are all woke in this day and age. Nobody wants them to tell them anything about their children. If you are not very close to that person and you don't have such relationship, you let it be, or you stylishly push this video to them. It will be available on YouTube. It's true. You carry your face before you get the feedback that you are not interested in getting. The one that will make you think about the day they gave birth to you. All right. So yeah, thank you, Mommy Mo. Mommy Mo gets our award for the most participating customer or the most participating audience today. This video, as I said, will be available for 24 hours on Instagram and is going to be available on YouTube also, so that you can watch it at any time. You can share with your friends and you can, basically do whatever you want to do. Thank you very much. It's been fun hanging out with you guys. See you guys next month. And we made it. 50 minutes of Instagram live. We made it. Bye.